So welcome to Ensoulment. Before I was getting uh, on the call, I was reflecting that every person here is so dear to me and has a very deep and thorough journey with themselves, with life. Um, and it's kind of a little bit special. It is special for me to um, to introduce Ensoulment because people kind of know about Ensoulment among my circles, but nobody really delved in with me a little bit. I mean, some people did. Um, so it's very special. So today, what I'd like to do, it's a little bit free flow, meaning sometime we're going to meet every week, sometime every other week, sometime people are going to join. So it's not like every week, 8:30 Pacific. We have here Pacific time. We have, oh, Kate. Yes. Kate was my mentor like 30 years ago. Wow, wow, wow. I'm seeing here beautiful people. Okay. Hello, Kate. Hi.
Hey, good morning.
Good
Good morning.
morning. Good morning. Oh, what a celebration. I was just saying, Kate, that it's a special occasion today because I'm kind of gathering my favorite people, some
Uh-huh.
clients, some friends, some mentors, some soulmates, and kind of diving into ensoulment. Like it's almost vulnerable for me more than if I'm teaching like a regular class to regular clients, regular. Uh, and I'm really looking forward to see what alchemy will be created.
Never
Um,
know.
yes, so thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'd like to go, maybe each person introduces themselves, where they're from, uh, and then we're going to dive in a little bit.
Oh, how do you want to go?
Yeah, why
Just,
don't you go, Kate?
oh. Hi, everyone. I'm here in San Francisco, and oops, turning off my phone here. Sorry. Um, and I've known Natalie, I think a little while now, Natalie.
Why? Yes.
Uh, and I'm, I'm deeply committed to and engaged with the world of somatics and spiritual awakening. And to embody is to be in a spiritual practice, and
Mm.
uh, and I'm committed to that. Maybe I'll cover a little more ground before I die to actually be here before I leave here. So
Mm.
um,
Thank
I
you.
think that's all I'll say right now.
Thank you, Kate. Wonderful. Yeah, who wants to go next? Maya, would you like to?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. So my name is Maya. I have also known Natalie for a few years now. I am half Israeli, half British, and reside most of my time in Erezos. So Natalie and I share a landscape a lot of the year, and
In Lesbos.
that's been Yes, in Lesbos Island in Greece, and it's been really blessed to get to know Natalie and to deepen our very, very beautiful soul connection, what I feel is a soul connection. And I actually discovered Natalie through Ensoulment because I came to one of our Ensoulment groups, and we connected then. And I've heard a lot about what she's kind of been journeying with through Ensoulment, but I haven't experienced it myself in a really long time. So I'm really looking forward to this. Thank you for holding the space, Natalie.
Thank you, Maya.
And as I'm sure everyone on this call is, and probably everyone who's alive, but aware or not, we won't judge, is on a path of getting to recognize and discover and explore myself and all the many parts of me on many dimensions, both human and divine. And to see how we weave medicine into the world, and how by becoming more authentically true to who we are and what our own knowing is, we can serve the world and serve the collective awakening that I think is very much the purpose we have incarnated in this lifetime and in this time and space to support. So, yeah, thank you for everyone's energy today. We all create a frequency together.
Thank you, Maya. Maya is also teaching at the Osho Center here in Lesbos, and also wonderful writing guide, writing coach, writing journey. Yeah, and she's modest, as you can see. She hasn't mentioned herself at all, but thank you, Maya. You really have been such a anchor here in this wild, wild Greece for the writing process. So thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Great. Shamit, my love, would you like to share a little bit?
Hi, everyone. I'm Shamit. I live in Israel. Pretty challenging time for the past 3 years. And I'm a family physician and a psychotherapist. And I am committed to spiritual practice. And I met Natalie a few months ago as part of an Ensoulment group as a path of my own healing. And I'm very happy and curious to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Shamit. Shamit is wonderful. Thank you. Amrit, would you like to share?
Sure. I'm Amrit, and I'm in Northern California. So I want to tell you about myself. I'm also very much engaged in the somatic world, and I'm a cranial sacral therapist currently, but I've got a long history of all kinds of somatic work, body work, yoga. And I'm a painter, and I've been a painter my whole life and continue to be. Definitely on the journey. And yes, self-awareness, contribution, loving authentically into the world, pretty much that. Mm-hmm. And I love this woman. We dance together. She's a soulmate for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What a celebration.
And I'm curious about her work. I don't know much about Ensoulment, so I'm here to discover.
Thank you. Thank you, my soulmate. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Angelina, would you like to go next?
Hi, I'm Angelina. I met Natalie this summer, and I had a couple of sessions with her in Erissos. So I'm excited to be part of this group and learn more about Ensoulment. And yeah, a bit about, I'm from Canada. I'm a naturopathic doctor here, and I was actually on a writing retreat this summer when I met Natalie. So I look forward to being part of this group. Thank you for bringing this together.
Thank you, Angelina. Thank you for being here. Beautiful. Beautiful. And my dear Gabby. Hi.
Hi. I'm Gabriella. I'm changing from Gabby to Gabriella, so I'm more and more getting comfortable with my full name. I wish to serve the flourishing of life and learn how I can do that. And for me, a big part of the practice comes through what I learned through dance. So the acts is kind of learning how to dance the life, and how do I be present and listen and move with every inch of my body and every inch of my being. And I met Natalie about a year ago, and I was very deeply inspired by her being. Like there was so much of this aliveness and this like deep presence that was very humbling and yeah, it's then through that I learned more about the Ensoulment journey and the books, and I bought both the books and went traveling with just this one book, Ensoulment 2, and it was the one book I carried along the journey. But it's been beautiful to see how my relationship with Ensoulment has changed and evolved, and it's been this ongoing journey to discover who is the deepest essence of me and how does that express as I dance through life. To be
Beautiful.
very, very in all of it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Ah, I'm so full just by your presence, each one of you. And it's really, it's touching me. I feel like with all of us here in this field, we're creating in this moment, almost silence would do better than words. But sometimes words are a generous act, a dancing act, a creative act. So I'm going to try to weave silence because there's so much wisdom and beauty in each one of you and our togetherness. And then I do want to share something that's very personal, which is Ensoulment. It's personal because it is a body of wisdom that has been with me for the last at least 10 years. It came as an automatic writing journey that I went through in 2015. It started when I was living in Southern California. I was in San Francisco, and then I moved to LA for a couple of years. And in that transition from San Francisco, after many, many years, 18 years, moving to LA, I kind of looked for myself. All of a sudden, the ground that was the Bay Area, it's a really important ground. It's a formative ground. All of a sudden, the ground was like, who am I and what am I? Exactly the questions that all of us are asking. And in a way, asking not necessarily to receive answers, but to fine-tune the honest, authentic expression. So that fine-tune started with writing. And I to be honest, I'm a businesswoman. I used to be a businesswoman. Well, maybe I still am. I'm an information architect. So I look at systems and how to build systems that are really delivering important insights to the user in the Silicon Valley. And that was very interesting. So when I started downloading this information, I want to say downloading because I don't feel like any of it is like, it's really moving through me, like our children, like our love, like our passion. It's moving through us. It's not us. It's not ours. It's moving through us. And Ensoulment has started to move through me in 2015. And as I was writing my own inner process and inner discovery, I was also working as a psychic. There's a psychic institute in San Francisco, and in that institute, we learned two primary things. We learned how to quiet the mind, and we learned how to read the subtle field. In quieting the mind, I have a very active and beautiful mind. I appreciate my mind, but to quiet it was quite a journey for me. And quieting the mind and noticing the subtle realm is something that really has been developing the last probably 15 years. Before that, I was very, very busy with kind of corporate America, go, 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 business, clients, flying everywhere. But I think the last 15, 20 years, there is way more listening to the subtle. And that subtlety, along with the writing, along with what I learned at the Psychic Institute, started a very interesting process that I actually have been in conversation with a body of wisdom. And the body of wisdom itself called itself Ensoulment. Ensoulment like embodiment. So embodiment, it's not something we just, some of us do, but there are different levels and ways to embody our truth, embody our body. And the same way goes with the soul. So ensoulment is actually a discovery, a connection, and an expression of the soul. But what is the soul, and what's the difference between the soul and my personality? And what is the difference between the soul and my programs or my fears or my inhibitions and so forth? This is a discovery process which I'm still going through. Even the move to Greece, I lived in Israel for 10 years before. I lived in California and then in Israel. Even the move here was a process of my soul saying, yeah, you got to move here. I'm like, why? Where? What's Greece has to do with me? But I guess it did. I guess it did. And it guided me very, very clearly at the beginning of 23. And who could believe that the year 2023 was such a pivotal point in the Middle East? And it's unbelievable. I mean, there are people who have precognition and they see things. I don't have that. I just have a very strong innate knowing about some things. But some people have precognition. Some people can see things, they foresee what's happened and so forth. I didn't have that. So a part of the fine-tuning of the soul is really to, after leaving the Bay Area and after leaving Israel, to make a base here and then to be a free flow dancer anywhere I am called. And it can be California, it can be Israel, it can be New Zealand, it can be Japan, wherever I'm called. And that is interesting to me. It's not always easy because I like my environment, I like comfort, I like beauty. So it's an interesting process. But I'm still listening because it always yields the process of listening to the soul, to the innermost guidance, have always yielded a deep peace and a deep presence that feels right. How do I know that somebody, when people come to me as clients or as students or as friends, I notice, is there a peace in them? Is there a reverence for their lives, for the lives around? Is there a flow? And that is giving me an indication for the amount of presence of soul in the day-to-day life. The soul is present, but it is changing. The same way our pupils, in our eyes, if there's a lot of light, the pupils become smaller. If there's less light, the pupils go. Same way with the soul. It's a very, very organic, alive, sensitive, super sensitive presence, being, field, magic, really magic. The soul is magic. And this leads me to the first distinction I want to make today about ensoulment, and then I'm going to open it a little bit to questions. I want to leave the last probably 15, 20 minutes to meditation, but there's a very strong field here with very, very wise and connected human beings, beautiful beings. So that it's not like I have to teach a lot, but I want to see what the field will evoke with us together, because it's a collective emergence that's happening here. And the soul is the most present or eminent or alive in this emergent field. Okay, so the first distinction I would like to make, I'm going to share screen for a moment just to show you. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that? Can you see my screen? Okay, so the most important premise, and we know that from all spiritual tradition, is the whole universe and probably all universes. There is the soul of the world. So we are like a little dot. Our galaxy is a little dot, a little infinitesimal something in the soul of the world. So there's a soul of the world that we are a part of. And every moment, there is an ongoing kind of emanation process that happens. So there is like a becoming process. But what is this becoming? What is that? And what is the soul of the world? And if everything is alive, the whole universe, all universes, everywhere are alive, what is this aliveness and how is it coming into being? So I have, in addition to being a dancer and an artist and a writer, I'm not really a writer, I'm more of a channeler, and a kind of medium psychic. In addition to all of that, I really have a very, very curious mind. And the mind is like, well, why the soul of the world looks like this? Why the emanation and the becoming is like a torus? And what are the particles of experiences that are happening? So I ask questions. I don't sit with a body of wisdom and say, oh, okay, that's how it is. Oh, that's nice. No, I probe, I ask, I challenge, not because I want to challenge, because it gives me a much deeper kind of understanding of what's really happening here. So the first distinction I want to make is this whole universe is alive. The whole thing is alive. Everything that differentiates is alive. I'm like, okay, well, that's nice to know that it's all alive, it's all connected. But what does it have to do with the primordial, the essences, the soul, the container, the vessels, the experiences? How are they all relating and why? So all this started coming down. And what's incredible, because these downloads happening, look, May, if you look at the bottom right, May 2016. Now quantum physics is validating all of that. It's validating all of that, that actually there's no real particles. It's all fields of fields that are kind of instantiating or appearing real in a moment. So everything is like an appearance. I'm like, well, if everything is an appearance, what is this rock? What is this mountain? What are the things that are really, you can feel them, you can see them, they're very physical. All these are the relationship. And this is the next book I'm writing. The book I'm writing is about beauty as the organizing principle of the universe, because that's a whole other, I have already like 200 pages of download, but there's more because it's quite incredible to link it to this kind of knowing that I received. Now, what is so special about all this Ensoulment, I'm going to pause here, is that it's very relevant to our day-to-day life. It's not just a generic philosophy or a generic cosmology or a generic, it's very relevant to knowing ourselves, to dancing with life, like Gabby and Amrit and Kate is a dancer, like all of us, actually all of us are dancers. I know Maya and Angelina, do you dance? I mean, do you dance at all? You don't dance. Okay. So, but dance is a really good metaphor because there's something that's happening with the fields of fields and it's emergent and it can tell us a lot about life. So the first distinction I want to make is everything is alive and everything is interconnected. That's the first distinction. There are other distinctions that I will make next week about, okay, everything is connected. So what? What's the implication? And this is when I started offering, after I finished the Psychic Institute in San Francisco, I started offering readings. And okay, I'm going to somebody, I'm reading their energy, and unbelievable information is downloaded. And I was young. I was like, 10, 12, 15. No, I started reading 2010. So that's like 16 years ago. But I was like, how did I know that? It wasn't enough for me just to know when they validate me. I was like, well, yeah, my last name is Blake. Okay, yeah, my grandfather was here. I was like, how did you know that, Natalie? I was curious, how did I know what I knew? Because I'm not so special this way. I was not born a psychic. I didn't have out-of-body psychic angelic beings talk to me. No, if they do, I don't remember anything. So I'm like, how did I know that? So this is when I started asking questions. I said, okay, that's nice. The models are nice. There's a lot of models. They're all in the first two books. And now I'm deepening into the organizational aspect of beauty, why beauty is such a critical and important part of becoming, and arrangements, the organizational arrangements. So all these models, okay, what do I do with this? I'm an engineer as well, okay? And I'm a very grounded person. I like to have things that are real and are impacting real life. So when I started giving readings and I started investigating into that, I was like, this is interesting. How did you know that? So then I started to understand that every person is a field of fields. Each one of us here, field of field, and this field can be read the same way the, ancient Vedic, Zen, Buddhist, they talked about fields. They talk about the chakra system. They knew that thousands of years ago. How did they know that? They knew that from contemplation, not from AI or like the technology we have today, but they knew it. So we are all fields of fields. And if I can read the field, first of all, my own field, because, and this is where all the practice comes in the Psychic Institute, I spent years reading my field. I'm like, okay, well, this is how it is. But why is the field rippling and behaving this way? So almost learning to read the field, your own field, and then the field of your clients. I think all of us here are also working with clients, therapists, healers, doctors. So how can I read my field and how can I read other people's field? And what can I do to bring it a little bit more to balance? Okay, that is the question I have. So I'm going to pause here and to summarize that everything is connected to the soul of the world, and the soul of the world is an actual real thing. It's not just a conceptual thing. It's a real thing. When a person is feeling really connected to life, they can really feel the soul of the world pulsating. And you can feel it when you are in altered states, like when you are dancing and you're really in the flow, when you're writing, when you're in any act of lovemaking, psychedelic experiences. Anything can be psychedelic, to be honest. Now there's a psychedelic kind of revival and movement, but anything can be a portal to this altered state. And then you can really feel that the whole life has a soul and you have a connection with it. And when you align with the soul of the world and you align with yourself, health, well-being, peace, primarily peace. Okay, because people can be very, very sick for a long, long, long time. It doesn't say anything about their connection with life. It's just a matter of the soul journey that they are going through. Okay? Okay, I'm going to pause. As you can see, I have a lot to say. I'm going to pause and let you kind of digest. And I'm curious to hear from you if you have questions, comments, something that comes to you. And if you do, then please unmute. Yes. Hello, Katie.
Yeah, as I listen, my mind is going to you, Amrit, because if you have your hands on someone's cranium, then you are feeling a pulsation of life and the tides of the cerebrospinal fluids. And those are not governed by any personal will of a biped. Those are pulsing in, as far as I know, all forms of living things. I was just curious if you had something to say about that.
Yes, is what I would say. Definitely yes. And, whether it's the cerebrospinal fluid or just life energy or vital energy, the way I experience it when my hands are on somebody's body, and it can be at any point in the body, it doesn't have to be the head or the sacrum. I can feel the life force in that person and the way that the energy is mobilizing. And there's nothing to do but to give it space and witnessing. And there's some sort of coherence that happens from outside of any intention, where, everything organizes because it's being, loved and
Mm-hmm.
witnessed and held and supported. So I don't
So
know if
it's
that.
that there's a participation in it's our participation in a subtle way, and I think this is your point, Natalie, to become quiet of my hungry ego matrix to reaffirm my identity as a biped. But when I can quiet that in the way you're talking about, Natalie, and you too, Amrit, is then I'm available to participate reverently with this grander, more profound, more essential vibration of life. And things start to cohere, as you're saying. They start to come into phase relationship, I might say. So, and then health, and then something unfolds, right? So that was my thoughts went in that direction.
Beautiful. Amri, do you want to respond to Kate after that comment, or?
The only thing that comes to me to say is that there's this building of potency and aliveness in the literal field of the body and beyond the body.
Yeah.
You can feel it. So that's the only thing I would add to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do we develop this sensitivity? How do we develop this sensitivity to the subtle, to the field? It's a question for us to sit with. I primarily want to direct these questions to how can we feel our own field, and how can we feel the field of a person who comes to us for some kind of guidance, or even a friend. How do we feel their field, and how do we tune in? This is a question just to leave it with us. If people have additional comments or additional insights, of course, you're welcome to share. But the paying attention to the subtle is a core way of being, of perceiving. Because when a person comes with a physical challenge, the physical challenge is just the densest, the dense articulation and expression of something way, way, way deeper. And what's interesting is what's happening way, way, way deeper. If I have a habit that I don't like, what is this habit? When did it start? It's not about the habit. The habit is just a habit. But when did it start? How did it start? The part that is consuming this habit, or is enjoying, or kind of feasting on feast, not fist, feasting on this habit. What does it want? What does this part want? Like, how do we have this? Not only witnessing is very, very powerful. I agree with Amrit, witnessing and holding, and then kind of moving to the next level of really understanding the arising of that habit. Why this habit arise? I never see things as there's a problem. I never see a problem. I have to tell you, I also declare that in my classes. There are no diseases. There is no cancer. I know it's a very radical statement, but based on Ensoulment, everything is co-arising at all times, and it's arranging itself based on the primary frequency that's emanating from the body and soul. There's a primary frequency. It's almost like you have many, many, many sounds around, but there's a primary frequency that's carrying the human being. What is the primary frequency, and what are the different levels of that? So all this to say that the explicit is always informed by the implicit, by the subtle. And when we learn to understand the subtle, and sometimes it takes years to know a story. I remember before I moved from the Bay Area to Israel, I had the pain in my heel. The pain was going on for over 2 years, and to a degree that I couldn't dance anymore. I was dancing every week, twice a week, and I couldn't dance. And I was looking, and it was 2015, and I was in my journey, but still, I had pain, and I couldn't explain why I have pain in my heels. It started on my left and then in my right. Oh, well, it's this, it's fasciitis, it's this, it's this. I was like, well, no. I couldn't find what's happening there. I went to all kind of healers, nothing. I'm like, okay, Natalie, it is pain, and so you do. You go with, bring a cushion to your feet, dance less all this high impact. And guess what? After I left San Francisco, it was not easy for me to leave. It really was a home for me. After I left San Francisco, I moved to LA. It continued for a year. When I moved to Israel, which is something I didn't want to do, a week after I arrived to Israel, the pain is gone. I'm like, what? How could it be? Now, I couldn't decode my field. I couldn't, even when I was talking with my feet. But apparently, I needed to be in Israel. But sometimes you don't hear it, you don't know it, you have no idea. And then the pain was gone. So what am I trying to say? That there is a primary field that the stories living inside the field, all kind of stories, mental, emotional, historical, family, doctor, what they say about what we should or should not. Oh, that's this and that's that. I mean, all these stories that are alive, they're imprinted in our field. And the question is, can we listen? Can we hold it? Sometimes we cannot. Sometimes only when we make a choice, all of a sudden the story reveals itself. So, but most of my work in my psychic work and my therapy and therapeutic is listening to the story that is alive in the person with me. Okay, what is the story that is alive? And the stories tell a lot. The story, because we said that everything is alive, including stories. Stories have their own volition, they want energy from you. They want you to believe them. They want you to expand them, to exaggerate them. Stories are alive. Mental thoughts are alive. Literally, thoughts are alive. So when we realize that everything that differentiates itself is alive, and we have a relationship with it, we can actually start to engage with it in a way that serves something, a balance, a peace, health, well-being. Any comments about that? That even stories are alive being, even thoughts.
Yeah, that really resonates. I sometimes find it difficult to almost know what story to tell, because it's almost like once you tell a story, it creates the thing. So it's like, so when people ask you, how are you? It's like, well, what story do you want to hear? And should I say the story? Because from saying the story, I've almost like cast energy in that direction, and then I'll have to, then it's a relationship. It's like, well, how do I relate with this story? Is this true in the next moment? Does this still resonate?
Yes.
And so it's tricky sometimes to know what stories should be said and what should be unsaid.
Also, can I add that we carry many, many, many stories, if it's generationally, if it's ancestrally, if it's the stories of other people, of the fields around us, if it's the landscape, right? I believe, at least, we carry a lot of different storylines, and they're very multi-layered within the narratives as well. They kind of merge, right? A little bit like the diagrams you had, Natalie. This is very quantum, these narratives. And the way they show up is not necessarily in this linear manner that we are so often conditioned into understanding narrative or storylines or all this. So this is also kind of a relationship we learn to kind of sit in the story with this, because what is story? It's a creation in itself, and we are creating a story, but are also the creation. We're kind of the story and telling the story at the same time. We're the vessel and also the life force. So it's this very interesting kind of field that we're learning to narrate ourselves, that we're learning to be authentic, narrating ourselves in, what is me, what isn't me, where am I serving myself and paying the attention, the energy into the storyline. How does it shift and change? I, by the way, have all these contemplations and questions that I'm bringing are no way concretized or have a full stop to them. It's all kind of an extension of an extension of an extension, right? It's kind of all contemplations that are interesting to kind of absorb and immerse ourselves in. But I don't think there's there's no linear kind of way,
Correct.
but it's
Exactly. That's beautiful. First of all, your mere uttering of this perspective that we are stories upon stories upon stories, the mere uttering of that creates that. And we are a civilization of stories. I mean, look how we passed all of who we are through stories. We create stories all the time, okay? Now, an interesting inquiry through Ensoulment is, what is the connection between the soul of the world, your soul, your particular mind, body, spirit right now in this dimension, the experience you're having. And I'm going to go each week, I'm going to kind of sprinkle more insights, and then slowly, we're going to kind of see the choreography of the whole thing. So the soul of the world, your soul, your particular embodiment in this lifetime, the experiences you're having, and then the reality you are creating. So my passion right now is to understand and decode reality itself. And you're absolutely right what you said, Maya, that it's a story upon story upon story, but the stories themselves, they dance with each other, they relate to each other, and they are kind of embedded in each other, and like a nested, they're nested in each other, embedded, they dance, they move. So how do we create our reality? So when a person comes with a challenge or something they're working on, what I am doing the whole time I'm listening, in addition to, like Amrit, holding space, creating a container for things to come to the forefront, is I am trying to feel my way into the story that's alive in this person, the story that's alive in them, in the story with all the sub stories, or the whole narrative, and how these narratives create the reality. Now, I want to say also even something more important, that we will never have like one framework fits all, because we are always inventing realities, creating realities. So basically, if we are 3, 6, 7 people here, each one of us create the reality in a different way. So the beauty is to decode how you create realities. Like, look at my experience here. Like I'm realizing that for me, planning and visualizing and doing this doesn't work for me. I need to listen to my impulse in the moment. For me, okay? Some people, they like to visualize and create these ceremonies and rituals, which really work. So every person is learning how to create the reality based on their stories, based on their field, based on what the soul of the world is bringing to them. And the soul of the world is always bringing some things to really to come to the surface, so they can go to the next level. There's always a next level, because the whole universe is evolving. Even the way we create realities, even the way we think. I mean, look now, we are inventing a new species with artificial intelligence. It's a brand new species. They don't even know how it creates its own, like we know there's a language model in all these machines, but we don't really know how they're doing what they're doing. So it's a whole species we are actually birthing right now. And what's interesting is in Ensoulment, one of the essences in Ensoulment is the essence of technology. So I kind of knew 12, 13 years ago that technology is going to become something that has its own almost soul. I want to differentiate. It's not quite soul. We can talk about it. It's a whole conversation, but it has its own way of being and desires and kind of aspirations and using energy and so forth. So all this to say that I love what Maya said about the story. The story informs how we create our realities. And each one of us, not each one of us, each one of the 8 point something billion, but the plants create their own reality, the rocks, everything that's alive, the clouds. So everything you can differentiate in your perception, in your reality, has its own life force and has its own way and intelligence. And what's nice is AI is really decoding all of that right now. We know now that dolphins have languages. By the way, yesterday I saw dolphin. I went on a sailing boat and I saw dolphin right off here, the island of Lesbos, and they have a language. It's not like, it's a language. They mean things, they say. So now we have enough collective intelligence that is filling up, our digital space, that we can actually find correlation and find intelligence within that. So it's fascinating world, what we're doing now. So all this to say, thank you that we are creating our own reality. And part of what Ensoulment is doing is linking between your soul, the stories, how you create your reality, and what is your moment by moment experience. So this is something I will bring in the next session. How do they link? And what can we learn from that? Okay, questions and comments, question, comment, insight. And then after that, we're going to do a little meditation.
I would like to add that from my doctor's point of view, I've seen many stories that the body creates, and it's very interesting. And I think that the biology of diseases is parallel to the story. I mean that, like autoimmune disease or cancer or neurological diseases, the biology, when you understand the biology, you can it reflects the story. And sometimes I can learn from the story that the psychic that yes the story that is not the biology, and sometimes I enter or engage with the story through the biology of the disease, and it's very interesting. It's another entry to understand stories.
Wow. Can you say something like from your insights right now about the relationship between the biology? I mean, anything like that you found out that may be interesting, maybe surprised you? The relationship between biology and the stories and the reality that the person creates?
Yes. If I take cancer, it's a disease that the self forgets who it is. I mean, it becomes something that is not the origin. And I think that many people that have cancer, they forget who they are. They have forgotten. And it's a disease that the cell is very frightened, and it grows more and more and more, and many people are post-traumatic or are very in fear, or it's also boundaries. It doesn't have boundaries, and people who have issues with boundaries, sometimes this is the story. It's very individual, but when we engage with the story, and sometimes the biology tells me what direction to go, and it's very interesting the parallel of both processes, and that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you. It's beautiful. Wow. You are so lucky that you know so much about the body as a doctor, as a physician, because wow, I mean, the body is so magical. For me, it's one of the most extraordinary I mean, the wisdom the body has. Many times I notice only on my body because I'm in it, but I'm like, really? That's what you were trying to tell me? Okay, thank you. Like sometimes a person would come and then I would feel so sad. I would be sad. I don't know why. And like it's just unbelievable what the body, how much sensitivity and capacity it has. And wow, this is why I mean AI is nice, but guys, wake up to the magic that we already have. All the boys are coding away, but it's like, well, what? There's all this that we if we just are in tune for a moment with the magic of it. But okay, this is our role. This is our role. The women, the psychics, the healers, the guides, the dancers, the creators of new ways. You know, the naturopaths. This is our role. Our role is to keep that anchor, because we need technology, but we need this ancient wisdom of the body, of the soul, of the earth. You know, and this is part of what we're doing. Beautiful. One more comment, or shall we? Anybody has something to share? Yes, please, Amrit, my love. Just unmute, yeah.
Yeah. Two things that come up for me. Number one, when you were speaking, Natalie, about stories, and stories being a continuum, you know? And also that stories are a co-creation. They're not our personal stories. Stories are also created from the field. You know what I mean? So they're co-created with imprints in the field that are so much bigger than our personal stories. So for me, all of that is a continuum and lives through the individual body life story. And it's the awareness and the consciousness that you were speaking about in terms of discerning, like if an illness pops up and you're like, oh, now I have a reason to explore what's going on here, you know, and that brings it to consciousness. And then we co-create with that and create a new story out of that. You know what I mean? So it continues to unfold itself. And I don't hold the view that we are separate in any dimension. You know, I feel not even our bodies are separate entities. I think, yes, they hold wisdom and information and we can attune through them, but I feel our bodies are perceptual lenses, you know? It's another way of discerning the universe and understanding reality. And reality itself is a continuum.
That's right.
So, you know, that we're co-creating with. And that means everything, even the fields we don't yet understand. Animal life and, you know, tree life and AI and all of it is just a big soup. And so it's like, where are we focusing our attention? What are we attuning to? Do we have intention? All of these things play into the story we're co-creating. So, you know, that's just something.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, Amrit. What you said is right on. Remember what I said earlier, that everything is alive? And it's exactly right. Thank you, Amrit, for making sure to kind of emphasize that it's a continuum. It's a continuum and it's a co-creative continuum. So this whole soul of the world that's dancing in all dimensions, all levels, all the minuscule Planck scale 10 minus 36 scale and the galactic cosmic, all of this is one continuum. And you're right, Amrit, many times we have no idea. I mean, but it's beautiful, the co-creation, a part of the continuum. And the question is, if that's the case, then how do I regulate, attune, intend, attend in this little life? How do I do that in a way that I feel good, that I feel healthy, balanced, well, creative? It's, wow. And sometimes we don't feel that, which is okay too. So thank you, Amrit. Beautiful. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Wow. Okay. How are we doing? Would you like one more comment? Kate, are you contemplating, or would you?
I just want to, I know that you're mapping the time here.
Yes.
I just want to say it's very provocative conversation, and it's bringing up layers and layers and layers of emotion and thought and philosophical memory, and it's uh, it's a rich, rich, rich invitation to
Mm,
reflect. I just want to say, Amrit, I loved the comment about what is it I'm actually tuning to. Where am I placing this precious thing called my attention, my ability to attend? That I've been thinking about. If attention is the greatest gift we can offer one another, is our attention. Whether it's a plant I attend to, or a little animal, or a companion, or attend to the words coming at me, to me here with all of you. I'm just noting. I don't have, but something starts to come into phase relationship.
mm.
Something begins to calibrate, and so I just wanted to say that. Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you, beautiful. Okay, so we have a few minutes. I want to do a little meditation, a little reflection, like in kind of, I'm hoping to be less guided. Like I said, this is a pretty powerful field of goddesses, of creators, of masters, of people generating miracles. Each one of us here generating miracles. So this is a very powerful field. So let me tune in for a moment to what we're going to do with this beautiful, like what are we going to tune it to? Maybe somebody has an idea. Where would you like to tune this rich, uh creative, co-creative ensoulment? Anybody has idea or request what to tune it to? And we're going to do a few minute meditation with that.
Could we just tune to the midline?
Say more. What is midline?
Midline, just the vertical axis of our being, from our sit bones to the crown of our head and beyond, and
Amazing.
from the sit bones to the center of the earth.
Okay. Midline. Okay.
Does that
So
make sense?
yes, totally, totally, totally. Thank you. Thank you, Kate. So So just invite you to ground wherever you are. In the central channels. Feel the life energy pulsating through you. Ask yourself, is there anything that needs balance in my field right now? Thank your body for being alive. Thank your soul for being alive. Thank your life for being alive. You are alive. Ask your life, is there one thing right now that I can give attention to? Take a deep breath. Slowly, slowly come back to us. And slowly, when you're ready, open your eyes. Wow, ladies, ladies, ladies. What a wonderful gatherings of goddesses, creators, powerful shamans, each one of us. Thank you. We're going to meet for the next few weeks. Let's see, let's play with it. Let's see the energy. I would love to have you. And if you have any questions to the group or to me, bring it on. If you have any insights, anything that comes as a result of this very deep and rich and present conversation we had here, I can feel the gooey, it's like a soup that's thick between us. So if you have anything that's coming out after that, bring it on. Otherwise, we'll see you next week, same time. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Lovely to meet you all.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.